And then as soon as you see Paula live, you can request to
flash.
join. Or hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram. It is Beyond the Steps Day. It is Friday, March 25th. We're so excited to be back. I'm excited to be back. I'm missing my better half, Melissa
Hello,
McNeil.
Instagram. It is Beyond the Steps Day. It is
She has
Friday,
got
March
competition
25th.
day today. So she is at competition. I think she's actually judging today. So we will miss her dearly, but Beyond the Steps carries on. So we are excited about that. We have another fantastic episode today, pretty timely, a great topic with everything that's going on with Apollo right now. I would definitely have questions for Alicia. So we're waiting for Alicia to join in here on Instagram. We're going to let everybody join in here in just a second. We'll get started. Drop your comments and questions as we go along. This is really important. We want to hear from you. We want to know, what is it that you want to know about? What do you have questions about? And we will get those answered for you by the end of the episode. And again, I am Bree with Paula. If you're just joining, we are Beyond the Steps. Every Friday we go live at 2 p.m. and we want to hear from you. So ask questions. We're going to get started here in just a second when our friends join in on Facebook and Instagram. So just sit tight and share this conversation with your community so we can get as many eyeballs as possible. And happy Friday, everybody. Here we go. There we go. Okay. Alicia, I've got you. Okay, everybody, I think we are live on Facebook and Instagram. I am Bree Zabrowski, co-founder and CEO of Apollo Performance Wear. This is Beyond the Steps. We're talking about things like racism, gender inequity, sex abuse and prevention, psychology, nutrition, and of course, dance, medicine, and science, where we live. Every week we go live on Fridays and we ask one question, just one, and we have a guest expert on who can provide insight and education and resources on that topic. And we have a conversation, and that's really where learning and change happens, is when we can have a conversation. So as we go, if there's anything that you want to know about from Alicia. Oh, we have an echo. Thank you so much. Alicia, maybe try turning the volume down on your phone. Let's see if that helps.
Yeah.
There we go. Is that better? Testing, testing, testing. I think that's better. Let me know, Red Hot Realtor, let us know if that's better for you, if you can still hear that echo. Hey, all. Okay. Hi, Dad. My dad's on. So today we're talking about how female identifying dancers, oh, it's still there. Why is that happening? Okay.
Happening.
And you have your headphones in, Alicia?
I do. Let me try and turn it off the computer and just listen.
Yeah, that might be.
Listen to you through my earpod.
And then we'll do a test on Facebook to make sure they can hear us as well. If you're on Facebook here, let us know if you can hear us on Facebook. Okay. Is it? Okay, that's better. Good.
That's
we
better.
fixed it. Okay, great.
Good.
So we're talking today about how female identifying dance entrepreneurs can better navigate the challenges they face in the industry. Entrepreneurship is hard. It is not for everybody. And there's a lot of challenges being an entrepreneur in general, but then especially being a female entrepreneur, there's added challenges there, which I certainly can understand and relate to. So we have today Elyshia Brooks, who is the president of BrandNiquely U, a personal and B2B brand boutique offering consultancy and education training that works with individuals, high achieving leaders, either as corporate professionals, business CEOs, and modern women. Women come to her to redefine, redesign, and reset their life, find their voice, power, and purpose to showcase their brilliance to the world. Alicia is a mentor to thousands of women locally and globally on personal mastery, self-love, and specifically topics on abuse through domestic violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and mental wealth. Alicia received her Bachelor's of Science from Albany State University in Albany, Georgia, and her MBA from Strayer University in 2005 in marketing. She has one adult son who plays professional basketball overseas. Alicia, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm great. I'm glad. So grateful to be here.
Yes, it's so much fun. We've never done a show on a topic like this before, so it is very timely. I was telling Alicia before we went live that we are going on Shark Tank, and as you can imagine, next Friday, April 1st, is our big debut. We are at the 7-day countdown, and it has been a journey. We're an all-female owned business who has bootstrapped our company from the ground up for the last 7 years. It has been an incredible roller coaster of a journey. So I'm sure we will talk about some of that today. And I can certainly relate. I'm looking forward to everything you have to say, Alicia. But it's such an honor to have such a dynamic woman like yourself who has committed her work to helping other women be dynamic and awesome and powerful. So especially as we celebrate Women's History Month, tell us why you choose to work specifically with women in your coaching and consulting.
Because women have a resiliency, they have a vibrancy that is about them that I love to connect with. And I love seeing women come up with ideas. And amongst all the things that we do, we have motherhood, we have friendships, we're daughters, we're sisters. And to see them have an idea to bring it to manifestation, I love doing that. And I love assisting them in showing and pulling out their brilliance, because there's so many different talents and great things that women do. They just have to know how to navigate them and bring it out. And so that's what I get to do. That's why I call it myself a catalyst, because I help you birth that.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to describe it. So we're seeing more female entrepreneurs than ever take the helm at multi-million-dollar companies and enterprises, launching startup businesses, right? Do you think there's been a huge uptick in female entrepreneurship, or has there always been a large population of female entrepreneurs and they're just now getting the recognition? Which one is it?
I honestly think that it's always been there, but I think in the last 2 years with COVID, I think we've had a chance to hit the pause button and reset and see where we want to go and what we want to do. A lot of times staying at home gave us a lot of chance to really look at, okay, what I really want to do, what's my passion, what I want to be known for. And I had a chance throughout the whole COVID piece to actually push women into that. And so they've had it. Some of them, it's been dormant. And now it's a time to actually do it, because I think with a lot of the trauma and the stress and all of that that's happened, is now their time for them. It's like, I want to live my passion. It's time for me to do that. I'm going to take my purpose off pause. I'm going to take my voice off mute, and I'm going to show up with all my brilliance. And so it's just the time of the woman. And so
do you feel like because of the moment in time we're in, the shift in mentality just all around in the culture, embracing female entrepreneurship and females specifically leading companies, do you think it feels safer for women to do it now because it's more accepted, where before there was just so much pushback, it felt like, and resistance to women in leadership roles?
I do believe that a lot of women now have found their voice and what they want to do, whether as C-suite leaders, as business owners. It's time for them to like, okay, it's about us now. And yes, we've gone through the whole chauvinistic thing, and people are looking at us in different ways. But I think we stepped into our power and are owning that, and really going forward in the careers that we desire, asking for the money that we desire and need, and not looking at as being the second to the man. Now we are leaders, and we want to be recognized as that. And so just embracing all of that right now is the key. And I think that's going to be a culture from now on. Honestly, I think that's
I love
true.
that. I certainly hope it doesn't go backwards. I can't imagine now. I can't imagine it going backwards or being any other way, right? But so the chauvinistic and prejudiced idea that men are better leaders, better bosses, better business owners because they can better control their emotions is still around. You know, you hear people think that it's kind of subliminal sometimes in people's words, in the context of what people say. We all know that's not true, right? But why do you think that stereotype has persisted in spite of, I should say, all of the amazing female business leadership we see around us? Why is that still a stigma for some people?
I think people stay in that mindset. Some people stay in that mindset. We have different stereotypes of different things. I think the longer it's been around, it's kind of like prone to be disowned. Doesn't necessarily mean it's right or it's going to stay. But I think for the women who are showing up now, and they're not listening to that, they're still breaking down the glass ceilings that aren't there anymore, and we are just doing it. But I think for men to now really get it, I think they're being more receptive to women. Some of them are still going to be strong in their own belief that men are better leaders, better. But, that goes back to the stereotype of women not being able to control their emotions. And when we've started developing that, and sisters and friends and girlfriends are now, business leaders are now pulling the reins for every one of us women to come together and say, hey, this is how we need to handle our emotions when you're in the boardroom. This is how it's all helping each other out. And so I think that's going into the forefront, going into the future. And we're taking that into bringing the young people too as well. We're teaching them. So that's a great thing.
Yeah, and I think the thing about women too, and where we're at now, and as a business owner, I can attest to that. Like, it's okay. Like, you can be in the boardroom, you can be firm, and you can be well educated, and you can have your stance and be in a place of power, but you can still be a human being. And I think there's this disassociation that if you're one, you can't be the other. You can still have emotions and feelings and be a human being and have those relationships with people that in your workplace, but when you can also be business minded and be a leader and be powerful in your own right, and those two things can coexist. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And just because you have emotion, you have feelings, it doesn't mean you can't turn those off.
Right.
My business partner will say that all the time. She's like, I'm too emotional, but she's an incredible business person, an incredible business mind. And I don't think I always tell her, you don't give yourself enough credit, because she is able to turn that off and make those decisions logically. So I do think those things can coexist. And so it's hard for me to wrap my head around the people that don't get that, that say you have to be one or the other.
Right. And then too, on the other end, when women are married or in relationships, how they can turn it off in the boardroom and turn it off when they go home.
Yes.
That's where a lot of conversations I've had to deal with as of recently, because a lot of ways I'm like, you got to shut down, and when you go home, it's a whole different story. Like, you can't use that same mentality that you have in the boardroom.
My husband tells me that. Because I work from home, and so like, this is my work, and this is my home, and it's all the things, right? And my husband will be like, girl, you better slow your roll right now. What are you talking to? Who are you talking to? So we have that conversation often. So I totally feel that. So female entrepreneurs, particularly ones that have ascended to what our society would consider, I guess it's perspective really, but would consider high levels of success, are often described as cold and difficult, while their male counterparts are described as determined and focused, right? Like, we describe those things very differently sometimes. And I think it's, again, subconscious because of just what culture has ingrained in our brains. But how do we start to change that narrative? Like, it shouldn't be women are considered, if they do the same thing as a man, they're considered one way, where men get the softer connotation, right?
Yeah. And I'm always big on walking in your divine feminine. And that means, to me, where you're able to have full authority over who you are, your personal brand, how you show up, your emotions and how you show up, and all of your authenticity. And so when you do that, you're able to say, okay, we can make this happen. We can do this, and believe in ourselves. And so a lot of times I try to inspire women to have affirmations every day, because those things will come at you, and then you'll start doubting yourself. And then when women start to doubt themselves, they have the imposter syndrome, I'm not enough, or I can't do this. And we put that narrative in our heads. And so we need to change that and then be around other women who are doing the same thing and going the same way. A lot of times, if you don't have the friendship or the business partners around you that are doing things that's going to motivate you because you see them doing it, then you should probably find you some new friends or a new network.
Yeah.
Because in order to change the narrative, you have to be around like-minded people. And I have friends from every spectrum, but at different places at different times, you have to set the conversation off about reality TV show. This is about business right now, and change that narrative around who are you really associated with? What are you really talking about? And what are you really giving your time and attention to? Because that's going to help steer focus when it comes to owning your business or going up the corporate ladder, whatever that looks like for you. You have to change the narrative in your mind first, your thoughts first, and have those affirmations that's going to actually build you up when you feel like you can't do it.
And isn't it funny? Because I think that you said imposter syndrome, and that resonates so much with me. Mm-hmm. I felt that at so many points in our business. I feel like, I came into Apollo understanding business, and you think when you start out, you feel imposter syndrome and it goes away. But I will say, as we've grown and leveled up our business, that imposter syndrome comes back in different ways. And you're like, do I really deserve to be here? Do I really deserve to be in this place? And you realize, like, look, I've worked my butt off to get here, and I may not understand it all, but I'm figuring it out. And pretty soon you look back and you go, look at how much I've learned. Look at how far I've come. Yes. I can tell you Shark Tank, we filmed back in the fall. And it's one of the most surreal things when you're standing there and you're like, how are we here? Like, you're looking around at all the other people that are there, and they're all so amazing, and who you're standing in front of pitching to. Should we really be here? And you really do, as you go through the whole process in life of your business, you're going to feel that so many times. And you just have to close your eyes and go, I am enough. I am strong. I am smart. And those affirmations that you said, they're so helpful. I've been working on that a lot. And I love hearing you say that's a good direction.
Yeah. Well, I really love these two apps. One app is called I Am. Oh. And that app, I think it's like $20 a year. That gives you affirmations. I have it set for like maybe 2-3 times an hour. Affirmations that pop up on my phone. Yeah. And then there's another one called Think Up.
Think Up.
Think Up.
Think Up.
Mm-hmm. And you're able to record your own affirmations. So every morning I have it where it's on a timer. You schedule your iPhone timer. And every morning it starts at 7:30, reading my affirmations in my own voice to myself.
That's so cool. I'm going to look at those. Yeah. Another thing that I've done is I've set alarms to like say things at certain times every day on my phone. Mm-hmm. It'll just pop up, or calendar reminders. Mm-hmm. That's one that, and you can also, if you're an Amazon Alexa person, like we have our Amazon thing set up, and like in the afternoon, it'll give me affirmations and daily motivation. So that's something you can do too. But I'm going to check those apps out. That's great. So just to repeat for anybody that didn't hear, it's the I Am app and the Think Up app, right? Those are two separate apps.
Yes. Great. Yes, those two sets. I love them.
If you're just joining on Instagram and Facebook, I am Bree with Apollo. I'm here with Elyshia Brooks. We're talking today about how female dance entrepreneurs can better navigate the challenges they face in an industry as an entrepreneur. And there's a lot, just as a business owner in general, there's a lot of ups and downs. We talked about that. But as a female, there's just some added challenges to recognize. And I think, women supporting women is always such a wonderful, positive experience. And anytime you can lift a woman up, especially a business owner, please do it. Because I can tell you that we need that. And we all keep each other going. So female dance entrepreneurs are often studio owners and company founders and convention directors and apparel or retail brands like Paula, right? So even in the dance space that has a huge female representation, it's dominated by, females. There's still this pressure to be likable and adaptable and not ruffle feathers and not cause too many waves. What advice do you give to your clients who are trying to balance being, likable and assertive with being relatable?
A good question. And I always say, be authentic. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
If you are wanting to own your own business, show up that way. There are a lot of times when I tell clients, you have to be the boss first in your mind before you get there. And so how you see yourself and how you perceive yourself really doesn't matter. And you have to get out of your head what other people think. As dancers and as entrepreneurs, as business owners, you have to get out of your head of what other people are thinking about you, because what you feel about yourself matters much more than what people think and how they feel about you. And when it comes to ruffling feathers, it's okay to ruffle some feathers sometimes. It's really okay to do that. And because we're all entrepreneurs and business owners in our own right, we're navigating through it. We don't know everything. And so you have to give yourself grace when it comes to doing that, because a lot of times we put so much pressure on our shoulders. It's like, well, what am I thinking? Who said I can do that? You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. And who cares if you ruffle some feathers? Some feathers might need to be ruffled just a little bit. And a lot of times when we don't want to make waves, and that's why I'm so big on taking your voice off mute. You have something to say. Obviously, you have something to say. Own that. If it's something that is going to be empowering to others, own that. But if it's going to be something that's going to, I don't want to say hinder or hurt, you don't want to do that. You don't want to leave a space, or you don't want to leave someone else spirit. You want to leave their spirits intact, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you have something harsh to say, and I always say, don't say negative, constructive criticism. It's information. You're giving constructive information. They can do with it what they want. Just like delivery, you as a business.
Is everything.
Yes,
delivery. It's the way your statements, the tone, the verbiage that you use. It is everything in. You can feel you're right, you can feel they're wrong, but the way it's delivered, the way it's presented makes the difference in how the conversation is going to be received and the outcome of the conversation.
Exactly. And a lot of times when we feel like we're getting upset or emotional, I always tell you, take a step back, go for a walk, go do something, and then come back and have the conversation with whoever that is. Because a lot of times if you have conversation with an employee or a potential client and they're not meshing, it's not coming together, then take a step back and look and see, how can I deliver this? How can I communicate this where they can understand it? A lot of times we as women, when we get in our emotions, we just start talking, and that's not going to be good if you have anything the correct way to say it. And so learning how to deliver it.
To do to pull back, because you want to, there's an urge to preserve yourself and stick up for yourself and argue right back, right? And some of the most mature things sometimes to do, and the hardest thing to do, is to not say those things that are in your head that you want to fire back with, right? And think about it in a calmer way, and because it's not going to help anything to do that.
No.
It's just going to escalate it further.
Yes.
We're getting some great feedback. Na for him says, be the authentic you. Your presence is important. Create your space and show up that way. I love that. Thank you so much, all, for
Natalie.
Yeah,
yes,
thanks for tuning in, everybody. There's such great comments and feedback. Again, I'm Bree with Apollo, and we're talking today with Elyshia Brooks about the challenges female entrepreneurs, specifically in the dance industry, face with entrepreneurship in general. It's a tough road to take, and we talk about with Apollo all the time. We try not to glamorize the startup life, and because I think there's this whole movement right now with being a girl boss and empowerment, and those things are wonderful, but it's also really important to be honest with yourself about what you can and can't handle and commit to, because it is not a journey for the faint of heart in any regard. So,
not at all.
I know plenty of people who are smart and capable that are not cut out for that road. And I would tell them that, like, just ask what you can commit to and what you can, because it really requires yourself to dig deep in ways that are not pretty sometimes. But I have heard that many female dance entrepreneurs struggle with bringing their authentic selves to their business, right? They don't know how to do that. So they feel like they have to change their personality to find success, especially as you're trying to welcome in a broad range of clients. You're trying to be welcoming to everybody, and you want to make sure your studio culture, if your studio owner, is set up to welcome all of those different types of people, right? Do you think that that's something that's common with entrepreneurship? Do you feel a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that?
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest common mistakes that we have in our minds, when you can't be all things to all people. And it's always key to focus down on who you think your ideal, I call them divine clients, are, because everyone's not going to catch your vibe. Everyone's not going to see, like, oh, I want to do that one. And you think if you're going to do one thing over here and one thing over here, it's going to get so confusing. And so you have to be targeted focused. I think if you be more targeted focused, niche down, you're able to charge your worth, for one, because you know exactly who your target audience is. You know exactly how you can show up every single day and do your best to work with them. And so if you are trying to have a studio over here that caters to this kind of person versus over here, like hip hop, then you're going to have a mixed vibe, and you're not going to really catch your actual brand. And so you want to create your brand that's specifically for that niche. You can always grow it, right, but if you are all over the place, people are not going to catch it. And so you want to be known for something, and then you can grow from there. A lot of times, everybody wants to do everything. And I always say every dollar is not your dollar, and every client is not your client. So you don't try to reach and get everything and grab and get everybody. Come out with what you really want.
With Apollo, we started in dance, which is when we make compression socks, obviously, and it's applicable to anyone with feet, right? But we started with dance, which is very niche compared to the size of the market for compression socks. And there were different thoughts and feelings on if that was the right way to go. But for us, it was, because we had to establish ourselves. We had to figure it out. We were lifelong dancers. We weren't manufacturers. We weren't designers. We had to learn that business and figure out, if we had a customer, figure out who we were as a brand and as business owners. There were so many great things that came with niching down like that. And then when it came time, the right time, we expanded outward, and we're able to do that a lot easier than I think if we would have tried in the beginning.
Yes. Because if you get out there and I always say you want to make sure that you are narrowed down so much that you can charge premium prices for that particular niche. Then you are able to grow and add other services or products, and you can add that pricing on to it. But you don't want to start off trying to be everything to everybody. And a lot of times when clients don't know what they want, I take them through this assessment, and they're like, wow, I didn't think about this, because you want to be able to get up every morning and you pop up like toast, that you get to work with them. You get to do this. And that's what's going to keep sustaining you. Otherwise, you're going to get those clients and be like, I'm starting to dread this. I'm starting to dread this. And you don't want to do that for your business.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So speaking of, we talked about emotion, and we talked about niching down, but we have a bunch of, in the dance world, you have creative artists who are doing something they're super passionate about, right? Which is always adds another level to entrepreneurship, and doing something they love. Dance entrepreneurs have also a strong emotional connection to their clients and the customer base. Oftentimes studio families are with you for years and years. The kids that dance there are dancing there from when they're little. it can create this emotional piece, right? It can get hard and it can make things difficult at times, but it's almost, if you're a human being, it's almost inevitable. So, is it okay to show emotion as an entrepreneur? And if so, is there a wrong and a right way to do that?
Absolutely. It's okay to show emotion.
Yeah.
One, because you want everyone to win, especially as a dance competition. My niece danced before, and my younger sister danced, and you can see the passion in them, and you want everyone to win around you. So it's okay to show emotion. You want to have an atmosphere where people can feel like someone cares. Like you don't want your clients or people to come in and like, well, they just want my money. You want to make them feel like you care about their attitude, about their day, about life in general. And so you want to make sure you have that cultivating atmosphere where they can actually come to you and grow with you as well, because it's more about building strong relationships. Like you're not just building as a dancer, you're not just building with your clients, you're building, if you have young kids, you're building with the parents as well. And so you have to create that culture for your own clients, for your own business. And so it's important to show emotion because everyone's human. And I don't know why people think, and especially men too, not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to show emotion. We're human beings. Be a being, be human.
Yeah,
in that.
So that's a great question. So when I was before Apollo, I built a competitive studio program. It was a large one in Texas, and it was my first time really building something that it was like complete. It felt completely mine, like the way that I wanted to do it, and I had all these families, and I was so invested and so emotional, and but I also felt like there was a point where sometimes I was too emotional and I had to pull back. And it can be very isolating, right? Because you start realizing like I'm going to get taken advantage of if I show this emotion, or I feel like I'm going to getting taken advantage of if I show this emotion. And there are times when it becomes you have to kind of put that to the side and make a decision for the greater good, right? And it doesn't always support what your emotions are telling you to do.
Right.
So what is your best advice to distinguish and be able to draw that line? Where do you draw that line?
A lot of times for me, I would, if I'm emotional or I'm attached to something emotionally, a lot of times, because I'm big on self-care, I know how that will build and weigh down on me. If I feel like someone's going to take advantage of me, or I'm really totally invested in this thing and I want to see it through, I would have to take a step back. I give myself 48 hours, 48 hours to step back from it. If it's not something that's pressing, 48 hours to take a break from it, look at the pros and cons of it. And then I would always go to one of my mentors who I truly, truly believe in what they say, and have conversation with them. And then I pray over it, because if it's not for me, if it's not for the greater good, if it's not going to catapult my business to the next level, I don't want to do it, regardless of what my emotions are. So I take the step back and look at the whole entire situation and the pros and cons, talk to my mentor, because I don't know everything. And once we get totally invested in our business, all we can see is our business. But you want to get outside feedback, because a lot of times we can't see it. And it's always good to get objectives from other people. And
I'm so curious what our studio owner friends out there will think, because I know oftentimes there's a family or a kiddo that comes through our doors, and maybe they're asking for something really specific and special that doesn't fall into the rules and the structure of the program. And I know I've experienced this, and I'm curious how many of you out there have as well, where you want to accommodate this child and this family so much, and you want to give them what they want, but if you do, it's going to set a precedent that is not healthy for the program that you've created. And so you ultimately have to say no, and that can hurt and that can be hard to do. But sticking, towing that line and sticking with what you've set, and there's exceptions to everything, but sticking with what you've set for your program, what you wanted to create, is so important to building and growing that program. It is a very fine dance, pun intended, of how to balance that out. So I love what you're saying, is to kind of just take a break from it, walk away, assess, is this the right thing to do, and go back to it, consult a little bit outside of your, your little world in your bubble, and get outside of that and consult with people that will tell you the truth.
Yeah, and then go back and look at your core values. What is your business built on? And if that's not aligned in your core values for your business or your brand, then yes, no, might hurt, but it's going to be better for you as a business owner, because it's your business.
Absolutely. Thank you. This is all such great insight. So if you're just joining, I'm Bree with Apollo. We are live on Facebook and Instagram today. It's Beyond the Steps. So we talk about so many things and so many topics. Today we're talking about how the challenges female entrepreneurs face, specifically in the dance industry, and how we can better navigate those challenges, right? Elyshia Brooks is here, and she's providing some great insight as to how we can do that. But let's talk now and shift focus to a topic that comes up so much. The challenges that come with motherhood, family obligations, and caregiving while having your dance business, specifically as a female entrepreneur, right? As dance educators and creatives, our work is non-traditional. You put in a lot of weekends, a lot of long hours in the evenings. You're working over holiday breaks and summers. There's no paid time off. There's no family leave. I think my maternity leave, at the time, I think I was back in you know, 4 or 5 weeks or something. I was like going back at 3 weeks, like partial going back. Is it a common thing, to experience the guilt that comes with that for female entrepreneurs? And how do you suggest navigating that particular challenge? Because I would think it's common.
It is common. And if women are wanting the business and wanting motherhood and being married and all of that good stuff, you got to find balance some kind of way.
It's so hard, Alicia.
I know.
How do you do it? Because it is so flippin' hard.
I know when I was going through that, my son was playing AAU basketball, high school basketball, and I literally was, as an international speaker, I'm all over traveling, speaking, and I would get guilty because I missed a game. I probably can count on one hand how many games I missed during that time. And those times when I missed, I was like, okay, I know he understands. But even though then that whole mommy guilt thing, it hurt. But then as I grew into it, I knew I had to take a step back and have a self-care day once a week, regardless. So I would literally close the door, get my bubble bath on Sundays and Thursday nights. The door is closed. Don't come bug me. Don't bother me. This is my time, because I would feel pulled over here, pulled over there. I got to go to the gym here. And I would be a basket case. Yeah. And you can't give other people if your cup is depleted. So you have to find ways as women to fill your cup back up. Otherwise, who's going to fill your cup up? You can't give from a depleted cup. And so you have to decide what is the best for you. And sometimes it's going to let some people down, but life still goes on. There'll be other opportunities. And a lot of times we beat ourselves up for nothing, because our children know it. They know that you want to be there. It just can't happen all the time.
I was talking to my parents the other day just about, obviously this whole Shark Tank process has taken so much of mine and Casey's time and attention for the past 13 months. Our families have sacrificed a lot. It's just been an emotional road. It's been a long road. Even the 7 years of the company, but then this particular last year coming out of the pandemic and all the things that we've had to do, and how hard we've worked. It's just been a lot to ask of them. And I was talking to my parents and just telling them just how much I wanted this for not only just, Casey and I and this whole experience and success that we hope comes with it, but also, you know, we want this for our families, like for them to, because we feel so bad that they've given so much. And, you know, they were like, they see you working hard for you, for something that you love, for them. Like, they're not going to remember this. You're at home with them all the time. You take them to school, you pick them up every day. Like, you know, there's things that you're doing now that you wouldn't have done if you would have had a full-time job, because you wouldn't be able to. So it's just the perspective. You know, I think we wear ourselves down in that guilt. Like you said, it's kind of unnecessary sometimes, but we have a tendency to lean that way.
And I'm sure when they see you on TV next week, they're going to be like, I see what she's doing.
Yes, they might go, my mother is crazy, but yes. We'll see. That it remains to be seen. But yeah, I think it's just such a common thing. I feel like ever since I've had children, I can honestly say I have felt that guilt consistently. No matter what I've been doing, no matter what career path I was on, it's present always. Because you can't tear yourself into 1,000 pieces and be everything all at once. It's impossible.
Yeah. And my son was like, Mom, I know if you could be here, you would. Like, I'm missing his games now. Like, he plays professional basketball in Japan. I'm missing the games because I can't even see them on YouTube. And so that whole mommy guilt is like, I want to be there to cheer you on. I can't do that.
Yeah. So how is he now? Now that he's older, I'm just curious to know, like, does he ever tell you, like, I'm so proud for all that you've achieved? Like, do you see the ways that's impacted him now as an adult, like a adult child?
Yes, he's like, Mom, you're the bomb businesswoman. Like, I see you work all the time. Like, you're in meetings, you're doing this. He's like, and I see it's coming to fruition. All those dreams and things you used to talk about, it's happening. And so he's more, when I say mature, he is the best.
Do you think that it rubbed off on, like, he's learned that? Does he have that same work ethic, that same,
oh my gosh,
grind and hustle that you have?
Yes. He would even, I saw it starting in high school when he would literally get up and go work out, go shoot around at the gym before school started.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your leadership skills, and every single team he's played with, every coach and every his players with them, I can't think now. They always talk about his leadership skills. He's like, I couldn't get him. All I got him was from you. That's all I saw you doing was leading. And I'm like, it makes my heart smile.
Yeah. Well, it valid, it does. I'm sure, because I'm sure you felt that too over the years, like you said.
Oh my gosh.
It just gives you the validation of, like, okay, I didn't screw this up.
Yes.
Screw it up completely, right? Like,
they watch you. They watch you for sure.
Yeah, my kids are still very little, so it's still that whole. I have 5 and 9 now. So, and they were babies when we started this, so it's been a long road. So how do you develop a brand for all the business the female entrepreneurs out there? How do you develop a brand that's attractive to clients, investors, customers, whatever, without being disingenuous or selling yourself as something you're not?
Well, that's huge for
everyone. Question, right?
A loaded question. But I've created this blueprint that I take clients through. And a lot of times, even if they're just coming to me for their business brand, I still take them through the personal brand piece too, because that's the foundation of building a brand. And a lot of times, if you are not clear on what the foundation of your personal brand is, because that's going to spill over into your business brand. If you're not clear on what that is, then a lot of things can fall apart. Then you have to go back and rebrand. That's why a lot of people go back and rebrand, because they didn't have clarity on the foundation of what their brand stands for. And so a lot of times when I take clients through their business brand, they're like, I didn't think about that. It's more than just logos and pretty colors. It's the whole foundational piece, your core values. What do you stand for? What's your mission about? Yeah. And what's the whole vision behind why it is what you're doing? And then are you really falling in love with it? I can tell if clients are just doing this to be doing it because they think it's going to make some money, or are they really passionate about it? If you're not passionate about it, I don't want to work with you, because it's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable. And you're going to go find something else to go do. And a lot of times when you're developing a brand, that foundation has to be set, because as an entrepreneur, you're going to get persuaded. You're going to get tossed and turned to and fro. And you have to know, is this going to be something I want to do? I get to wake up every morning and I get to do it. A lot of times we have, oh, I got to do this, or I have to do this. No, you get to do it because it's your joy, it's your passion. Like when I fell into branding and marketing, I found out I loved speaking and I love marketing and branding in high school in DECA class. So I take them back to the foundation so that they remember that and grow from there. And then we assist you in how to scale and grow in terms of growing your business, because there's so many different levels of growing your brand that you probably wouldn't even think of as a business owner. But if you have the foundation started, that's the big thing.
So is it important, if you have a product or a service, it's a very different thing than having a brand, right? So those are two very different things. Do you recommend, no matter what your product or service is, you have to figure out what that brand is related to your product and service, or is it not always necessary?
No, it's necessary. Whether you have a product, a service, or you have a personal brand, whether it's a lifestyle brand,
I agree.
You have to have a brand developed first before you start marketing anything.
Yep.
And a lot of times people think, like I just said, logos and colors, but you have to look at who's your audience, who's your niche, what's your mission statement, what's your core values, what do you want to bring, what do you have to offer? So it's more than just that, because you have to figure out how you really want to show up in the world and how you really want to show up in the world with your product and your service. Is it going to be a representation of you and your business? And so creating that brand from the foundation really is the key. I can't stress that enough, because people get it twisted. They're supposed to start marketing something. Well, what are you marketing? Who's your audience? What are you talking about? What's your mission?
There's so much to marketing and branding. It's a whole nother universe. And, if you are just getting started out there, I highly recommend obviously contacting Alicia or somebody like Alicia who can help you figure those things out, because it's definitely a process. We've been doing it for 7 years, and I feel like we have a very solid brand, and we still learn things every day, and are still soaking everything up like a sponge with marketing and branding. It seems endless, right? So you're popping in at the last minute here. We're talking with Elyshia Brooks. I'm Bree with Apollo, and we're talking about the challenges that are facing female entrepreneurs today, particularly in the dance industry. Alicia, we like to give homework at the end of every episode. It's something that a simple place people can start to help see improvement on this topic in the next week. So between this week and next week's episode, what is one thing you want to challenge our viewers and our listeners to work on in this next 7 days to make progress?
There's so many things. What can I say? I'll probably say, because we're talking about branding, go back to your core values of why you started your business. Why is your brand this? And really look at, and I always say do 7, sometimes 10, but you want to have 7 to 10 core values, and go back to your core values. Or if you haven't even started, write them down. What are the core values that really make up the foundation for your brand and your business? Because that's what's going to be built upon. That's what people are going to be known for. It could be leadership, it could be customer service, it could be excellence. Whatever those core values are, write them down. And if you already have them, go back and revisit them and see if they're still in alignment with where you're going in the future.
I found this, but do you find, like, I went back to the business plan that we had when we started, I recently saw this, when we started Apollo. And what we did, it was at the very beginning stages that we did everything. Like we have pages of notes and, what was our core values? What was our mission statement? Who are we as a company? And do you encourage people to check back in and revisit those things? Because I found we're such a different company than we were then, and where we saw it going then is not at all how it ended up going. And we're so much stronger and better now, obviously, but it changes as your business grows. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree, because your business plan is a working document. And so a lot of times I always say clients either read it once a quarter or at least twice a year, because you have to see, am I deviating from this plan? Because if you're deviating from the plan, you got to get back. Because if you deviate too far, like, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. That's not what my business is about. And you'll start drifting.
Do you think it's okay to deviate if you feel like you've evolved and grown from that?
Absolutely.
Is it okay to deviate?
Absolutely. Because a lot of times things change. We evolve as people, our business evolves. And so it's okay to deviate. But if it's not one of your core things that you want to provide, then just look at it at least twice a year.
Thank you. That's great. That's a great place to start. I feel like everybody can do that. If you're a dance entrepreneur out there, it's take a second this weekend, check in with yourself, write down those 7 to 10 core values, and start looking at that and really saying, is this me? Is this who I am? Is this who I want to be with my brand, my product, my service? I can't say enough great things about this conversation. If you're just joining, I would encourage you to watch it back and watch it from the beginning. There's just been a lot of great insight shared today. We also encourage everybody out there to take our Steps initiative course. It's a free online course. It's going to tackle all the topics we talk about on Beyond the Steps. Racism, gender inequity, sex abuse and prevention, nutrition, psychology, and dance medicine and science. Each module was curated by an expert in their field, and it gives you insight and resources and evidence-based research to help you. It's not everything, but it's a great launching pad for you to go further and educate yourself and to do the work. And that's really what it's about. When you know better, you do better. This course is free. You can go at your own pace. I'm going to pop that in when we're done today. I will link that in both platforms so you all have that. We also encourage you, if you're a dance entrepreneur, get YPAD certified. It's never been more important to keep kids happy, healthy, safe, and dance. There's a lot going on in the dance world right now, and our friends at YPAD, which stands for Youth Protection Advocates in Dance, YPAD.org, are doing a great job at that, and they have a bunch of different certifications you can get, but it's professional development. It's crucial if you're working with children, and we have a 25% off code for you. You get 25% any of those YPAD certifications, so I will link that as well. Alicia, tell us how they can follow you. How can they get a hold of you if they want to consult with you? What are all the ways they can reach you?
Well, here on Instagram, you go to @Elyshia, ELYSHIA Brooks, and that's across all platforms. And BrandNiquely is my company name, but you can always DM me. My email is hello@brandniquely.com, and you can email me there, and you can get on my calendar for a 20-minute consultation. I would love to connect with you.
Awesome. I would highly encourage everybody to do it. She gets it. So, and anytime you can get help in anywhere that's overwhelming, and put you on the path. I know we've had that. And give you that insight. It kind of changes the game sometimes. So I encourage you all to get a hold of Alicia if you need that. Next week, we are talking, Melissa will be back. Thank goodness. It's going to be April 1st, Friday, April 1st. We're going to do how can we best navigate the challenges I'm saying the wrong thing. I want to make sure I'm telling you the right Beyond the Steps episode for next week. But it's with Christina Dawkins, and I'm finding it. I will post that in the notes there too when I find it. I don't want to say the wrong topic, but we're talking with Christina Dawkins next week. I will tag Christina. And next week is our Shark Tank debut. So Friday on ABC, Paula is going to be on Shark Tank. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, or check your local listings for your time. We hope you watch. We hope we did the dance community proud. We're really excited. We have worked long and hard. And are just really thrilled at this point to be able to share it with you, talk about it with you. So tune in next Friday, April 1st on Shark Tank, and you can see me and Casey pitch to the Sharks. Did we get a deal? You're going to have to watch and find out. And we hope in the meantime you do your homework that Alicia gave you. Start looking at what those core values are. Write those down. 7 to 10 was your homework. She wants 7 to 10 things. What are those core values? And building your brand. I'm going to link all the information she gave when we're done here. And in the meantime, we hope you continue your journey beyond the steps. Everybody have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you soon. Alicia, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been great.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.